he was a fanboy of a different sort. He was into this thing called the Seahawks. And one year, the Seahawks made this thing called the playoffs, which if you didn't know, is called the Super Bowl. Which is really funny because one of my favorite shows to watch is the Super Bowl halftime show. And my poor dad just looks at me like I'm the epitome of a disappointment. What did you think the halftime show was half of? Okay, well, Dad, listen. Every year, Mom gets out that big, super-sized bowl and fills it up with the good chips. So then we eat the chips in the first half of the big bowl. Then it's Bruno Mars, and then we eat the chips in the second half of the bowl. Duh! Oh God, the Super Bowl was so important to my dad. And, you know, my dad, he ended up getting cancer, and eventually one day the doctor says, you're gonna have to go into hospice. My poor dad, he was just like, I'm not dying on Super Bowl Sunday. I'm going to watch that game from here or there. True to his word, he died on Saturday morning. Oh. So he watched the game, and that was the first Super Bowl I watched. It was still boring. You know, that actually wasn't the worst Super Bowl. So it wasn't the worst Super Bowl Sunday, I mean. I was going through a real hard time at one point in my life, and I wanted friends. I wanted to feel like I belonged somewhere. So I fell in with the wrong crowd. They were runners. I found myself on an early Super Bowl Sunday running the Surf City Half Marathon. You know, I thought it was a great idea. And even with the training though, 13.1 miles. When your feet are fat, flat, and wide. Socks. And at mile 10, I struggle and I realize I have to pee. There's only porta potties. And runners, they're fast. I look at the toilet seat and there's questionable liquid. So I have no choice but to hover. Do you know what happens when you run 10 miles in the cold and you squat? Yeah, you get stuck in a squat that you can't unsquat. But I managed to get out of the porta potty and I look for my friends, there's only one left. Because something about me messing up their time. Runners. Let me tell you this. Friends, real friends, don't let friends run half marathons. But the one friend, she helps me unsquat my muscles. And I'm finally enough so the 80-year-olds fly past me. And the escort comes up and I'm like, this is my chance. Like, help! And he's like, you got this, girl! So I hobble, but you know, eventually I'm there. And I'm the last runner to cross the fucking finish line. You know, we went to Disneyland. People hate on Disney adults. But have you ever been to Disneyland with a child? You know, it's always the whining about how hot it is and how long the lines are. And then it's the crying. And that's just me. And then you have to go to Lost and Found to go get your kid because you forgot that you were a mom.